Says we're live.
Yes, it does.
Nerds, are you ready?
I am ready.
Del Najero. Am I ready?
Are you
I
ready?
am I am ready. In a world where
Mm.
um in a world where the Pfizer CEO already said he wants a fourth shot in the arms. This is the vent. I'm your host tonight, Del Najero. I have my other host with me, the Nerd Z. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Ah, how's your week been?
Jeez. After I said that intro, I was just like, damn, dude really said that. This guy said this guy said the four shot. But nah, my week has been pretty blessed as always. The
Mm.
one concerning thing that we talk about after no, sorry, before the pod is on my IG stories, I shared screenshots,
Mm.
and what those screenshots contain is the bitterness between Frito-Lay and Loblaws. And the results of that bitterness is when you look at the chip rack and even the drink rack. I didn't I was so shocked at seeing it bare like that that I just
Mm-hmm.
took the pictures of the
Of just
empty chip rack. Yeah.
wow.
But I thought of it after. 'Cause I remember looking on the right and I went, wait, they don't have certain drinks are not here either. So I'm like, oh, what's really going on? But not so due to the dispute,
Mm-hmm.
you can't get Doritos, you can't get Lay's, you can't get Ruffles, you can't get Miss
Really?
Vicky's, you can't get Doritos, you can't get Sun Chips, you can't get Smart Food. Like that's a lot of chip brands. So
All out of Loblaws.
Loblaws. Now catch the joke.
Mm.
It's not only Loblaws, but because Loblaws owns, there's a store called the City Market. This is
Mm.
downtown. They
Yeah.
can't get it. No Frills can't get it because Loblaws owns No Frills.
Okay.
Loblaws owns Shoppers Drug Mart, which means Shoppers Drug Mart doesn't get it either.
Really?
So it's a big deal. People are scoffing it off. I'm just like, nah, I don't think you guys realize what
You're what you're soon
you're
going to be going through with
yeah,
withdrawal.
withdraw.
Ew. That's
Buddy,
actually
like yo,
funny.
it was nuts,
Wow.
man.
Well, before
Anyone supporting my IG, you'll see my stories that I did today. You'll
true.
see it. It's
Okay.
foolishness. They better fix that.
Well, before we get into today's segment, we're gonna say that our beautiful Jay Hunterville, he will not be joining us for this episode. He
Get
has
well.
yeah, with a little something, sniffle, sniffle. So more
Ah,
like a
whoa.
more like a headache.
More like a headache, yeah. Like if
um, yeah,
he is on fire like the Halzim from Street Fighter. You know the type of heat that he draws. Like ignore the stretchy arm thing he does. Like it's when
right.
When the Halzim does that flame thing. Picture
Uh,
that. Picture picture
on
that
his
on his
head.
head. Picture that on his head.
The soundtrack for today would be Alicia Keys. His head is on fire,
That's
fire,
yo
fire. Ew.
yo. That is that's the soundtrack. Yo, that's wow. Hey man, get well,
Okay.
man. Get well,
Yes,
James.
well, we'll see you again on the next episode of the
On
Vent.
the on the
Oh,
now our weekly segment of I was about to say
COVID updates.
COVID, but I'm like I don't know. Besides the Pfizer guy, the CEO saying that there's not really no. They're saying there's a variant, but then they quickly went like a new variant, right? But they quickly said it's more contagious, but
This
eh.
this just sounds like a group of people who like to shoot it up. I mean, just can't get my. I can't wait for my next dose. Like, All the
Uh,
rest of us are like, stay away from needles, guys. Stay away.
like yo, I don't know.
But for COVID, what is it? They said that it's gonna be it's mask off March. So they're planning on
21st.
taking the 21st. Okay, so we gotta wait another week. But
Yeah.
from what I heard, they were planning on implementing it earlier for the kids.
Oh,
I guess that's because they're on March break.
during March break, yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. But I guess official day would be 21st. Got it.
21st. The
Hmm.
first and spring is looking good already because it's double digit this week. So,
Yes, it
but
is.
spring is the 20th. Right.
I want to know what started this mask off thing, because I know in Britain we had covered that a little. Britain was already implementing their mask off. Their prime
Like
minister had
Boris,
announced
yeah,
that, yeah, like quite a while, probably like what, beginning of February.
they're ahead. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He's
right.
like way ahead. He's just like, yeah, this mandates, just all rubbish. It's rubbish.
Man was
Man,
ready to take it off.
uh,
man went,
and
man had the mask and he took it off on one, and like the
oh
elastic
the
band just snapped it off.
that
Right off. Man was throwing that out. Oh man, but that's good. I mean, as long as we're getting back to normal, putting
whatever that means. But
right normal. But
uh,
I mean, aside from, as you were just earlier saying, Frito-Lay and Loblaws having a dispute. So what is that? Distribution for certain food items are being affected.
mhm.
Inflation is also affecting us. The gas prices have been crazy. Our neighbors over across the border have been like, I feel so bad for you, sharing their pity to us.
Yo, yo,
Because
Biden
when,
was like, oh, sorry,
yo,
go ahead.
no, I was gonna say they've been looking at us like $5 a gallon.
Because people don't realize like it's hold on, we're gonna do some volumetric math right now.
Right?
So hold on. So 1 gallon is 4 liters, I think.
Yes.
No, it's like
Three something.
3.7 liters, right?
Yeah.
So like when people in the States realize, wait a minute, you guys gas is cheaper because of that, and you're like, no, 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 we're in liters, you guys are in gallons. So times that by 3.7, and when you start adding up, they're like, oh, ooh. They start going,
Mm.
they start going like that. You go, ooh,
Clenching
ooh,
their pearls.
right? What
Yeah.
doesn't help too, I think we spoke about it before, but when Biden was like, I urge everybody to go back to the office, because it's time to get the economy back and everything. I'm like, yo, what perfect timing is this? High gas prices, and he's telling everyone to go back into the
Go back to
office.
work.
Yikes, man. Hey, up here too, because
It's true.
I think they have until the 4th. If they don't come back, they're fired. So
Really?
you'll be fired with unvaccinated people. I don't. So if you don't come back to work, you're fired. You're fired with unvaccinated people. But you could be vaccinated. You see how weird that
The
is?
discrimination continues. Oh, hmm, hmm.
And I tell you, man.
It's true. It's like it's interesting how certain things are being enforced and others aren't. So like the same people who've been vaccinated, okay, they've been in their home working remotely, and just because they show their proof of vaccination, they get to keep their job. While somebody who said, I choose not to and I'll wait it out will instantly get fired.
Instantly. But now it's they don't care if you're 3 boosters in. If you're not in this office chair by the 4th,
The
you are
fourth.
fired.
Dang, that's rough.
That's like what? Remember, what if take it in. What if you already, because it's 2 years we were doing this, right? So what
Hmm.
if you already packed up and moved somewhere completely,
Hmm.
and then you get that email, that letter, like, yeah, you have to come back. And it's like, yo, I already moved and everything. Well, Well,
Sorry, man.
sorry, man. I don't know. Think
Gotta
it'd
get
be
back into
time.
the office.
Ah,
See you April 4th, 9 a.m. sharp.
that that is tough. As the kids would say, that is tough.
That's funny.
But I think depending on your job, they're open to hybrid. So like
Mm.
so like 3 days of the week. But then I don't know if they let you choose any day, but 3 days of the week and then 2 days off the week. But even then,
So
I'll just
yeah, so that sounds like a see, there's so many things happening. So from a workforce perspective, I've noticed that they've been trying to adopt two extremes, right? So I think they had this work style or work structure implemented in this Switzerland,
Mhm.
one of those Eastern European countries, but it was like a 4-day work week. You didn't work more than 6 hours in a day, 4 days a week, and that was it.
That sounds like a
So,
good life for some people.
right? So that is one of the structures, the business structures that they were trying to do. It was to like help with mental health, making sure people are able to be with their family, all these things. That's what it is. Then the other structure is like, I believe China is the one that actually implements this one, where it's basically 10 hours a day.
That's the other one, yeah. But
And
it's
it's like,
it's still 4 days a week,
I think it's like five.
but 10 hours a day.
Yeah. It's like 9, 10 hours a day. And then you work like for 5 days. But the difference is that you would have like a 2 hour break in between, you know, all these other stuff. So they have like this other different structure that they plan on having. So
At
it's
this
like
point, I'm just like, nah. That made me tired. I just heard 10 hours. I'm like 10 hours.
10
No,
hours,
no.
5 days.
I would consider no, because so we have the two examples, right? So we have the six
Mm-hmm.
hour 4 days,
Mm-hmm.
the 5 day 10 hours, but then
Mm-hmm.
there's also some people do 4 days 10 hours. So they do
Mm-hmm.
their 40, but then if there's three off, so
Mm-hmm. Yes.
right.
Yeah.
No,
So
I
those
thought
are
about
those
that, but
options, right?
but
4 day, 10 hour. Yeah. 4 or 5 day, 10 hours.
mm,
Because for Canada, what is it? Full time. You can do 40 hours a week up to like 80 hours a week, I believe.
up to 80, yeah.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's more like 37 point something.
Mm,
Yeah, there's a lot of fukori
yeah.
happening with that.
Yeah.
So,
There's overtime. That's a lot of overtime.
because they make sure certain jobs, they make sure like
Yeah.
overtime, nah, you gotta like,
You cut it
you
off.
gotta cut that off. Like,
Hmm. Or
there's
you're
no
like,
point.
you get days off. That's your compensation. You don't get paid. You get days off.
Hmm.
For every extra hours that you worked. You just get more days off. That's it. That's it.
Sorry for
So
this terrible lighting.
it's
It's
okay.
crazy. It's like,
But
if my shadow moves without doing something, just pray for me. It's just, just,
you got to put the screen on. That's what it is.
that's,
You got to put the screen on.
but
Oh,
nah,
man.
I think, I don't know, with COVID, like, what if someone's really adamant, like, nah, I'm not going back to no office. Nah, I'm not gonna get sick again. Blah, blah, blah. Like,
I mean,
just,
it does. The traditional way of working does get challenged because it was working, right? People were working remotely, and now you're asking them to come back into a business environment.
yeah,
It's like, well, working at home was useful. And then on top of it, because people were working from home, they actually got a tax benefit because of it. They got all these things because of it. So, if why would somebody want to remove themselves from an environment that was actually like good? Now, mind you, other people would feel the other way. They may feel like, oh, I'm more productive when I'm in the environment or in the space. at my workplace than to be at home, because sometimes people don't want to bring their work home and they don't want to blur the lines between that either, right? But as they say, if it ain't broken,
Don't
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 fix it.
fix it. They said productivity shot up though.
But that's what I mean,
It shot like way up, right?
because people were in the comfort of their home. They didn't have to deal with coworkers they didn't like. They didn't have to deal with other people's like BS. There
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
transportation issues. There wasn't other external factors that were playing on them. You know, they're at the
yeah.
comfort of their home. Well, I said that already. Comfort of their home is really the biggest part. They were comfortable.
See, I was
And
on
when
the
people,
transit, and I would have been here on time, but
right?
someone was acting up on the train, and then it delayed it, and
Imagine.
like, and they were just acting a fool, and then like, yo, like they were breaking glass
Yeah.
bottles. It was a danger.
But I hope that, like, now this is the part where it's like, I hope, right? Because you hope that people actually do take in these like things and they consider these factors and how they actually apply. But I hope
Mhm.
somebody who's actually in government is recognizing, hey, when people are doing jobs and more productivity shot up, they were at home, so therefore working remotely actually was beneficial. All these things, right? If now they have to go back, I hope someone can actually write a detailed paper
Oh, like a
about,
research.
yes, and recognize that, hey, maybe our transit is not the greatest. Maybe our work environments are not the greatest. maybe like there must be other factors that are like that are just affecting the way that people work. And that's it. I mean,
Like, right?
like what else can I say? You
I don't
know?
know. Like some say that what this thing exposed is like I
Mm,
really don't need you don't need middle managers. You don't really need them.
yeah.
Like the whoever runs the company can just be like, hey guys, this is the task for this week. Boom, boom,
Mm,
boom. You do your Zoom meeting for like an hour and change, and then
mm-hmm,
you log into like let's say the work service or the server,
mm-hmm.
so you can like do team work and all that, and then yeah, you just do your
Yeah.
thing while your kids are yelling, or your wife is touching your leg, or your dog's
Mm-hmm,
licking your foot. Like yeah,
mm-hmm. You're just chilling.
you're just
But
chilling. You know?
I think that that also applies. Like people who have to do more, I guess you can say like, I want to say higher, not higher learning, but higher levels of like brain activity, attention spans to like writing emails or, correspondences, more administration work. I
More
think
industry. Yeah.
those who have to do more administration work can actually work remotely. And
Yeah.
it leaves those who are supposed to be the frontliners the ability to just be frontline. Maybe if anything, you probably just need one person to just supervise and just oversee all those people. That's
I mean,
it.
the banks like jumped ahead of that. They're like, remember how you go to the bank and like for like seven computers, it would have like five tellers. At least it's like
Mm-hmm.
now it's like two to three.
Mm-hmm.
Even the when you go to the back part and everyone has their own office,
Mm-hmm.
not they're not all there either. They're just like, nah, just shoot me a Zoom link and then we'll discuss. Da, 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. But that's
So
also technology too. So that's the other part, I guess. That's the other side of it. Us becoming super dependent on technology. Mm,
if an EMP went off, that is good game over there.
right? Right.
That
If everyone saw that South Park episode where the internet was unplugged. Oh,
yo, that's people be crashing their cars for no reason. Like people would
yeah.
really pull out that
Rocket launcher.
if the especially
Honestly.
maybe not the first day, but by day nah
Three?
by like day three, no
Do
internet
you
like
like,
no internet
right? You have to actually go and call somebody or
calls
see
or
them
like
in person. But do you even remember where they live? Do you even know
oh
their number?
Yo, okay. Yo. Because usually when I see people in my contact, I just go blip and I just do
Right?
it.
Do you know how to travel to somebody's place if they told you I'm by the intersection of Wilson and Islington?
You're like Wilson and Islington, and
Right?
you're just like,
What is there?
what is it there? Luckily, I had okay. I have that skill left. Like if someone told me I'm an intersection of this and this, I would be
Mm,
like, because of the bus, I just know like okay, I know where to
hmm
take. Like I can't get lost easily in Toronto. You would have to
Yeah.
take me to like some like I don't know, like Hamilton or something. Then I'll be like, oh, where am I? Right? But Toronto, even Mississauga and Scarborough, like
Mm.
right?
It took me a while to get to know Toronto a little bit better. Off the bat. Um, and even just to remember the sequence of like streets as you're driving by them.
Mm.
So it took me a while, right? Like obviously I knew downtown and I knew North York and York. I'm
For
not.
for people in the States going North York and York, what?
I know.
Yes.
No. Yes.
There's, for those listening,
Yes.
there's parts of Toronto there's North York, there's East York.
Yes.
I think there's East York. I think there's other Yorks. Hold on, let me look. Hold on.
There's no West York, no. It's just
There's,
North York, East York, York. And then downtown, then Etobicoke, then Scarborough. Yeah,
that's basically it.
that's basically it. Yeah. And then there's like everything outside of that, which I don't know anything of off the bat. Like, but for the most part, I know Etobicoke pretty well. Don't know very well Upper Etobicoke or Lower Etobicoke.
Upper and Lower Etobicoke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. There's Etobicoke. And when you go into it, it's literally Eglinton. And for all the listeners out there, if you know what I'm talking about, definitely drop your fire sign. Just be like, yes, talking about my area. But like Etobicoke itself is like Eglinton, right before yeah, and it keeps going until the
You hit Renforth.
427.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all Etobicoke. Then Upper Etobicoke, I don't know where it starts, but I know when you get to Islington and Albion, that's Upper Etobicoke. And then when you get to Lower Etobicoke, it's like Scarlet and I want to say Dundas. Does it even go that far?
No, Dundas. Okay, let me tell you. Eglinton.
Yeah.
Okay, they say Young Street's the longest street in the world. Okay, get that
Yeah.
get that out the way. But then
So Dundas.
Eglinton is Eglinton is super long.
Yes.
Dundas is super long because that
hmm
hits. Dundas goes from Toronto
Yeah, it
to
turns into
Mississauga.
Rosendale, and then
Yeah,
yeah.
and it goes through Mississauga. Even though I was like, it cuts through here.
hmm
Eglinton cuts through Mississauga as well.
hmm
So,
Yeah. From Scarborough all the way over. Yeah. Facts.
but
Mhm.
you're putting me on. I didn't know they called it upper and lower.
Lower?
Yeah.
Yeah, they call it Upper and Lower Etobicoke. Yeah, what see, and that's how you know. When you know some people in Etobicoke, you know. It's the same as us saying, yes, there's North York and York. If you know people in the area, you know.
North York and York. I'm still like, what? There's North York and York. What?
Mm-hmm. And
What's
then
funny?
there's
What's funny is I'm near. No, it can't be East York. I'm near some type of York, because it
I
used
think
to
you
be a
are
P.
East York.
I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't
I
know where the
think
end of York is. I think the end is really St. Clair. And St. Clair down is considered downtown.
St. Clair down. I thought it was
Bloor?
Bloor. Yeah.
Yeah, me
No,
too.
Bloor. Yeah.
No, I think the line of downtown is where the streetcars are, where they start.
Ah, that's interesting.
Mhm.
Where the streetcars start.
Which is St.
That's funny. Because we've got LRT on Eglinton, so that means is Eglinton and downtown now? With that theory?
No, but that's a LRT, not a streetcar.
I mean,
I know. Trust me.
yeah.
Because when you go to St. Clair and Young, you're downtown.
I never considered downtown.
Me neither, but
I'm,
you're
I'm
downtown.
more like, okay, once you're past Bloor, you are like you are
Down
in
Crooked.
you're walking on the block and you see a bunch of clothes and hair and debris. You see okay, anyone that's coming to Toronto, especially this summer, because Caravan is coming back, Pride's coming back, all the festivals are coming back.
Facts.
But when
They-
you're in our downtown area, like you'll see regular downtown stuff like piles of clothes just randomly just there. You see mosh up buildings that have lease, all types of tags from GFA, I don't know who that is, to Sparky with the angel sign. I don't know who that person is either. Like you see the next type of tags, like
Okay.
looking like you're looking like everyone else's downtown, like
That's crazy. Didn't know that. Well, now I
yeah,
gotta look at the graffiti. Okay.
when you read not the murals. Yo, okay, hold on. Quick sidebar. Apparently there's graffiti rules.
Yes, there
Like
is.
I notice people don't
Tagging rules? Yeah.
it's like it's almost like what they call, I don't want to say dog whistle, but it's like
I know what you're saying. Yes.
it's like
Whistleblower.
I almost said not a whistleblower, no. It's like an unwanted, not unwanted rule. It's a something rule where it's like they just know like
Unspoken?
unspoken rule. There you go. Where it's like, okay, I'm gonna tag this window, you tag the bottom window. Don't tag over my stuff, because I'll or like or this area has a mural. Don't tag the mural. Don't do something stupid. But tag like around it. Like there seems to be rules to this. Like
Yeah. Okay, so here it is. Language and rules of graffiti artists. There's a few actually. Jeez. So the ultimate offense is writing over someone else's work.
mm,
And wow, this word is gonna throw me off. Anonymity. Anonymity.
anonymity. I probably said it wrong too, but basically it's anonymous and
Yes.
thing put together. Yeah.
Yes. So that is important. So no snitching. Communication is usually to other writers, not to the general public. Okay. Graffiti has structure. Didn't know that. I mean,
Okay.
I know, but I didn't know that. Real graffiti is illegal.
It's okay. Real.
Graffiti.
What do you mean by real?
I guess it's like places you're not supposed to. I mean, I follow one graffiti artist who I love so much, Banksy. Jeez. So he's an English graffiti artist who does more political, I guess you can say political satire, humor type of stuff. And he does more paradoxical pieces. So that are referring to like political stances. Which type of politics he's referring to, I don't remember right now. But say, for example, it's a policeman who's on the street or on the wall for his graffiti art. He'll have a police officer who's talking to a little girl and trying to correct her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The other one is like a maid who's sweeping the trash underneath the building.
The build.
But he tags those ones specifically for which building they're sweeping things under the rug for.
Oh.
So
That is
that's
really
what
clever.
he does. He does that. So love his work.
That is
He's
clever.
like rampant. There was actually an exhibit that came to Toronto. I can't remember what year. I ended up going to it. And the person that curated it was his manager. So I don't think Banksy actually had any affiliation to the actual exhibition.
Right.
So it was kind of like, he just wants to stay anonymous. I don't think anyone really knows who he is, just his manager. And even then, I think he stays anonymous too.
It makes sense to stage as anonymous, like,
Yeah. But that
'cause they
man
want
made
you,
bank just to get more spray cans.
just to get just to get more spring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it though.
There's a
Yeah.
sticker, there's a vent sticker on one of the construction signs at the back.
Mm,
And then those square pylons, right? That tell you like, oh, slow down or whatever, right? So the
mm-hmm,
back part, there's a sticker there.
mm,
This is how this rule is real. Someone
mm,
tagged it, but they made sure not to block out the vent sticker. So they tagged around it.
mm.
So then I guess when people are walking, they see the sticker there, and then they see, but I don't know if
Oh,
they mean,
hurt.
but they don't know if it means, does the vent represent this or this
Mm,
represents So
got it. Okay, okay.
yeah, that's
Mm-hmm. Oh, so here are the rest of the rules. So they say real writers wouldn't deface a small business. Oh, so they only target larger businesses or
okay.
commercial stuff. And no writing on religious or sanctuaries.
That is okay. That's yeah,
A place of worship.
place of
Got it.
worship. Yeah.
Ma-
Okay. Now that you say that, yeah, I don't remember seeing it on any mosque or church.
Mm, maybe under dumpsters, but
Maybe okay,
not
maybe at their dumpster. Yeah, like,
yeah,
maybe at their dumpster, but not the
yeah,
actual. No.
yes. Not an actual like place of worship. Hmm. Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, now everyone knows the rules,
Yeah, we just the event has told you the rules of graffiti. Yeah,
right? The
not
unwritten rules of graffiti.
not saying you should do it. Not advocating for that, but just
But definitely in love with what I do see,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
especially if it's well done. I love well done graffiti.
Like
Like you
now,
see the what their message is. Love it. Love
now when you say you said well done graffiti, do you mean graffiti or well done mural?
it.
Because
Graffiti.
murals, oh, like well done graffiti in general.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when I remember one time, so like where my studio was, I I say I was fortunate. I was fortunate to be by a studio where there was a park nearby. And where the trains would go by, the abandoned trains had graffiti on them. So
Mhm.
you would see, I guess whoever that graffiti artist, they did it on purpose. Their art was meant for the trains to go by, that you would see the message.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay.
So it was like, that is well done. You see what the actual animation of what they were doing because of the speed of the train. So every
Because
time it goes through, you see what's actually happening. They placed it really
mm,
well. It's
I
really
remember
well done.
in we were okay, same middle school, right? There
Hmm.
was a day in I think you probably had seen it, but there was a day when morning time middle school, you
Hmm.
walk into our area at the courtyard, right?
Hmm.
And then one day I look at the wall and it's just a massive like it was like a red and black font graffiti just on the wall. And there are
Mm.
people and there are kids going up to like, yo, oh my God, that's cool. Wow. And then obviously like later in the week they cleaned up the wall and like they took it off. Right?
Mm.
And I remember one of the girls we both know her. She's like, "Oh, I know the people who did it." And I was just like, "Oh, okay." That's
Mm. I know back in the day, it's just like, do you really want to say that?
do you read it? Do you really want to say that?
Shit, yeah, do you really want to say that? But I mean, it's good. Like, It's good that people actually, I mean, I enjoy it. Like I said, if you're good at what you're doing and the message that you're sending, and it actually is something that I guess is promoting, because I feel like a lot of graffiti artists are promoting change of some form, or like um just like sharing what they see in the world and just like what they would want to see differently. Others,
Oh,
it's just really their talent. That's the other part, you know, their skill.
others are just like, I'm just tagging it. Ah,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
tagging it. Right?
yeah. Just a rebel with a cause
That's yeah.
or without,
Or or what they
right?
either or.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but that's art in Toronto though. Honestly, art in Toronto. I've been meeting a lot of artists actually, and I've realized that it seems to be getting more and more difficult to be an artist in Toronto.
That is a title.
Yes,
Now, when you
because
say, so, okay, well, just to set up, so when you say more difficult,
mhm,
you're gonna explain, I guess, like costs, networking, finding a
yeah,
space, because just
yes,
finding a space alone in this
yes,
city.
it's
Well,
very hard. And I was gonna say that it's because they've literally cut down almost all the art spaces altogether. And
oh wow.
when I say art, they really cut down everything culturally as well as places to just commercialize it. And I kind of have seen this transition over the years. Um, not saying that I have been super deep in like art spaces, but definitely have had my contribution here and there with being with a few circles here and there. Whether it's music, whether it's singing, whether it's dance, whether it's visual arts, whether it's theater, whether it's operas, whatever it is,
Hmm.
graphics, you know, photography, media, um, all that. I've seen different groups of people, content curators, creators, etc. Whether they're independent, freelance, work with somebody, work for somebody. I've just noticed it's just become more difficult. Like, and I don't know if that's because, you know, these corporate companies are just buying out smaller people and working with them. And those guys are actually making the teams to complete those projects. Or
Like a farm. Yeah.
yeah, or like how in the rap, a camp,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Like a camp. So people make camps essentially to like finish projects. Yeah. But like aside from different places being like different places no longer being accessible, like much music was a place for artists to come be discovered. People would
Especially local.
come, right? Like,
Especially local, yeah.
and like you would perform, you would have like they would have like different concerts available there, all that stuff. And then it even expanded to having like the hosts, and they did like different kind of competitions, contests, etc., etc. That just then all of a sudden died off,
Just
or
vanished, yeah.
lifeline got cut off, who knows. um
All
and
the
then
I think all the VGs at the time just yeah, our job's over and this all right.
that's it,
Like
right?
I seen I forgot her name. The one in particular, you know her, Redskin woman with puffy poofy red hair. She had red hair at the time, yeah. Poofy red hair, light skin. She had freckles and she was one of the VJs. Yeah, one of the VJs.
I might know her if I see her face,
Yeah.
but
Or the
yep.
one I think it was a white girl that had that spiky red hair. She's a politician now, right?
Okay.
Right? Running
Yeah.
for yeah. There's a lot of them. Like Matt went to the States, and I haven't heard from him since.
Mm.
You had
I was gonna even say the YouTube spaces, they closed down the YouTube space.
Already? They just
What? That thing was closed since like 2000 and was it 19 or 18? They closed that bad boy a long time.
what it consisted of, like the YouTube space.
YouTube space was for creators. So if you were a YouTuber, obviously if you had like certain accolades, or were meeting certain numbers, you were invited to use the space to actually do creation, um, the stuff that YouTubers do, whether it was like products, creating videos, you had access to certain things, all that good stuff.
So you're able to access you're granted access to the studio.
Yes,
So like their lighting is
video
okay.
production and all that other stuff. And yeah, then it's like no longer available. Let me see. YouTube space. But that's another thing where YouTube space was, yeah, Toronto studio to be replaced by pop-up temporary facilities.
Pop-up and temporary. Wow. That's like
Right.
those are words they use in the city a lot. Pop-up and temporary.
And that was May 2019.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Cause remember I think four y'all used that space.
For y'all. And I believe even Marlon was there at one point.
Marlon was there at one point, yeah.
Superwoman was there.
Wow. Yeah.
There's a lot of people. So like they said that it boomed in like 2016. It opened at George Brown College in spring of 2016.
Okay.
And it was a 3,500 square foot facility, was accessible to YouTube personalities with over 10,000 subscribers.
Which
And
is
more
actually
popular,
that's pretty
right?
fair. 10,000?
Exactly.
Like that.
So, and then it's like they had access, the more access they had to studio time. The more popular the channels were, the more access they had. I think even Latoya had made an appearance there or something like that. So,
Because 2000, you said 16. Yeah, she was still in the city.
yeah, she was still
Yeah.
here. So, like, then 3 years later,
Just bam, gone.
gone. Like, what has happened in 3 years that it had to be gone like that? When, especially if it just boomed. I think when did YouTube just start getting popular? Yeah,
Ooh.
yo, something happened 2017. I swear. No, honestly, that year something happened. Like, and we gotta ask the viewers: did your whole world shift
In
from
2017.
2017 onwards?
That's a good conspiracy question. Like,
I swear, because that was the best year of my life. 2017,
so
best year.
we were 27. Well, you're younger, 1 year younger. But 26,
Mm,
27.
mhm,
That was our second year of the podcast, of the event.
mhm,
That's the
mhm.
second year, yeah. Yeah, second year, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And we did a lot. I think that was the first year we did. Was that the first year we did our live?
I no, it sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah,
The first summer, yeah.
that
Not
we
the
did
first
our
summer,
live.
but the yeah.
Yeah. So like we were doing a lot. Something happened
Like,
2017. But in 2018, I think everything was still good. And then after that, it was like,
it's just no
what
more.
happened? Yeah. And it's not even just like, oh, me saying that. Like I feel like everywhere something happened. Like that's when
Cause
we
you,
had concerts from the States coming in.
mhm.
We had 2017 is when a lot of concerts from the States came in.
2007, I gotta hold on. 2017.
Trust me, you gotta look at that. You got to look at it. Like I
That's a very
swear.
good question.
How to the viewers go back? What is this? You're in 5 years ago,
Yo, that's great. What year are we in? That's like
right?
this is what everyone's mental health right now is just like what year are we in right now?
Right? Just take a mind map 5 years ago and picture your former self. Where were you?
Everyone visualize, close your eyes, and just
Right? What were you doing at that time? How was the environment around you? Now let's fast forward it. Do you notice a slight change?
Did you?
Just the atmosphere. Just I also feel like that was probably the year the height of actual art and creation was.
Oh, like the bubble. So the bubble popped
Mm-hmm.
2018.
Mm-hmm.
Like at one point, what was popular on YouTube in 18? Because it was podcasts for sure. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was like the new thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then like what was like
I think creators were doing more meetouts. Influencers
yes,
were doing more
yeah, yeah,
pop-up.
yeah.
People were doing more brand collaborations. You were seeing people starting up their journeys. What else? People were getting more established. Yeah, like this was before business became business. Those houses that YouTubers were all living in one house started.
Which is interesting what you just said earlier. You said it could be a corporation buying smaller artists and creating a farm.
Mm-hmm.
And what you just said earlier, what you just said just now, a bunch of YouTubers living in one house.
Mm-hmm.
I always wondered because I keep my eye to like what they say you keep your ear to the streets,
Mm,
and then I wonder like I think we had an off combo on it. Something about how like there'll be a creative group,
mm,
so they all came from doing their own thing, and they decided to invest together, right?
yeah.
But it's like almost the question I'm asking is like, did they all cover the cost, or something
Uh,
behind? Not in the not to make it sound like scary, like in the shadows, but who's the
mm,
main investor? Because that's
mm.
considered a farm too.
Yes, it is.
It may look like, oh, they're
It
just
all,
doing it for one cause and everything, but it's like
right,
who's dropping money on this though?
right. Who had the 360 deal?
No, no. Okay,
Uh,
it's funny you just mentioned that because like I think with some of the big YouTubers, yeah, I think some of them got 360'd for sure. Because once you see like when you start adding up, like, oh, you guys have the same manager,
mm-hmm,
but your channel's about this, your channel's about, oh, but you got the same manager. Okay. Oh, you're all living together.
mm-hmm,
Who's paying for that house really?
mm.
You start asking questions. Or,
Yeah. So I think that's really what it was. The bubble of art popped. The art bubble popped.
I, it,
Bubble of art.
and then while that was happening, like what a year after, so we're in 2018 going on to 19.
Mm-hmm,
Corona's bubbling in 2019.
mm-hmm.
And then by the end of December, just like, yo, hey man, I don't know what's happening in Asia over there, but hey, watch out, guys. And then all of a
Right?
sudden,
Close.
2020 hits, and then just bam.
Close. But then that started a whole new segment of art because it became digital art.
Making digital art, yeah.
But like everyday outside interaction, became reduced unless you knew somebody.
Yeah, yo, so, okay.
Yeah, to know people.
If you're in a transition where, like, you don't have a group of, like, friends or whatever, and you went through the COVID,
Mm,
yeesh. Because now you're just like, oh, I don't have anyone to, like, really, I don't really interact with these people digitally. Then
hmm
you're like, yeah, that's a strange error for someone that's like they didn't have a core group of friends
hmm
beforehand.
Right? And then I feel like that's also maybe it's also, as a conspiracy theory. But
Well, number two, we were two today.
right.
So 2017 was something happened.
Yeah,
Which
something happened. Something happened. I think that the new wave of creators and the influencer hierarchy is starting again.
okay, that's
So I think that's what this is. This year is that.
hmm,
It's five
interesting.
years.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, fine, yeah.
I wonder if our clock is 5 years.
Ooh, that give me goosebumps for a second. Wait, what do you mean? Wait, wait. Define if our clock is 5 years. What do you mean by that? That was a weird
Like-
statement you just made. Like,
Okay, so you know, like every 4 years, right? For school is when you transition, basically.
yes, yeah.
Every 4 years. Um,
So for those listening, grade 9 to 12, and then if you're getting a bachelor, no, bachelor's 4, right?
yes.
No, sorry, because diploma's 3, yeah, bachelor's 4, yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Diploma's like 2, 3, bachelor's 4, yes.
4, yeah.
Then it
So-
goes back to 2 for your master's and then another 2 for doctorate. So
Mhm.
that's another 4, essentially.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's like every 4. Academia, every 4.
Every quarter.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, continue.
So I think that, you know, everything has a life span, right? Like everybody, like everything and like everybody has a lifespan where it goes up and then it goes back down. Or as
Like wave-
Shakespeare says it, the wheel of fortune.
The wheel of
So,
fortune.
yes.
Like a wavelength.
Yes.
Yo,
Of when it rides.
yo, open your third eyes, guys. Yo, what? Continue, see, continue.
So I think for us, I think that either the peak was 2017
Which,
and then it went back down,
yeah, sounds like it, yeah.
right? And I think that this year is when it's being established again. And probably like this year or next year is going to be the peak again. So,
Hmm.
yes. Because what, 5 years ago? That's what I'm saying. I wonder if it's every 5 years, our cycle. 5 years ago, what, YouTube started blowing up?
Yo. So YouTube started in
2000.
2007, 2008. It's old. It's
Yeah, so
very
then
old, yeah.
2007, then if 5 years later, that's 2012,
2012.
right?
Don't tell me it was red hot.
Yes, it was.
Smoking Reasons was red hot. Who else was out at that
Yes.
time?
Yes, it was. Yeah, 2011 and 2012, those were the years.
And then interesting, yeah,
Add another 5 to that,
2017, yeah.
2017, and another 5, 2022.
Dude. Okay.
But that's just my theory.
This
my,
is
my conspiracy.
mm,
Every 5 years. So I think, yeah. So it might be, you know, I think that is going to possibly pop off really good in Toronto, especially for the arts this year.
this year, yeah.
This year and tomorrow. And not tomorrow, next year.
So then 2020, so another 5 years from now would be 2027. Did I do my math right? Yeah, 2027, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which, going by your theory, it'll go down again
Mm-hmm.
in some way. And then 2032 is when it goes back up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wait, let me see. Okay, let me see if I add the number. Hold on, let me see if I add the numbers. So if I do
Or like
2022, right?
the 5th year is when it's the peak year.
The 50 years is always the peak year.
Mm-hmm.
So if we do 2017, right?
Mm-hmm.
2, 1 is 3, and 3 is 7 is 10. So it's 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2017 to 2022, which is now, 2 to 2 is 4, and then 4 to 2 is 6. So that's 1 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one coming up is 27. So that's 2 and 7, 9, and 11. So it's 1, 1, 6, 1. And then 2032, 2 by 3 is 5, 5, 7, 7. So it's 1 6, 1, 7. And then if you do another 5 years, 2032, it'd be 2038. So 2038 is 2 to 3 is 5. 5 to 8 is, shoot, that's 13, I think. Or 14. No. How am I getting my math wrong? On live. Hold on. 5, 10, and then 13. So that would be 2038. 13.4. So in the clusters of years, I added up 16174. I don't know what that means. I was just adding
Numbers
numbers
for all the
together.
people who do numerology.
Numerology, just think on that a second.
Yeah. No, I hear you. But yeah, that's another part. So I feel like this year is probably our year. Everybody has been hiding in the depths of COVID, and they've been blossoming. So that's another thing. But altogether, as an artist here, I've had a few conversations. Like recently, I've definitely been connecting with a few artists of different backgrounds, different levels of experience, different thinking, pathology, whatever the word you want to say, various people, diverse groups and peoples.
Yeah.
But one of the things that consistently comes up, especially for artists who are starting out and or who are even just moderate and actually have been doing it for a while, their thing is nobody appreciates the art.
I heard a ill quote one day. It's something to do with serving the master,
Mm,
but they serve what the so basically they don't serve what the mind is doing. They don't appreciate someone's mind. Like, yo, you did this with your
mm,
mind. Like you did this art with your mind, right? They
mm,
appreciate more, or in this case, they don't appreciate what the mind did for the art piece.
mm.
So it's like they see the art piece and it's like, but they don't appreciate the mind that took it to be like, okay,
They get
what
there.
what what asked you to get there? How do you
Mm-hmm,
cultivate that? Like,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. So they're saying like a lot of people here, that's what it is. Like they meet people and they're not like the other part that I hear is that people, a lot of artists are actually very upset with how art has become commercialized.
Upset. Yeah, upset. That's glass breaking. Yeah.
Upset. Yes. And I was talking to this one guy where he shared some of his his angst and like some of his views about like how Toronto is very close knit and it's very like
Oh, yeah.
right cliquish. He said that, you know, if particular groups don't hang out with other groups, like you can't
More
just
more tight than an ovary. There's groups that are more tight than an ovary.
yes,
You just can't get in.
yes. So it's like, you know, if you're fine with one person, you can't really have mutual friends, it seems like. So
Which is stupid. Like, come on, guys.
yeah, the possessiveness. So I was just kind of like, I don't know. For me, like my experiences, I feel like I find a lot of free flowing artists. So I don't actually meet those who try to like hoard their work and or try to like create this type of what's the word? You versus me or a cliquish type of thing. It's very like collaborative energy. You know, we all are involved. We all will benefit from it. We'll
Hmm.
all like aspire to be great people because we all are contributing and we're doing great work. So those are the artists that I meet here in Toronto. And those are the artists who I find have, I guess, better success. And I find that it may be associated with their mentality, being that they
They're
are so open.
they're open, yeah. I was about to say, yeah.
So I
They're
think that
willing
that
they're
that
willing to like lend a hand,
yes,
and then even if someone like takes advantage, eventually it comes back, like, right?
yeah.
So
And I think that's just what it comes down to. So it's very like, you know, I meet artists and they're like, you can't talk to everybody and you can't be involved with everybody's work and not everybody shares the same passion. And like that word is also another word that keeps coming up, passion. Bro, when I mean the art world, what? People say that word 10 times in one sentence sometimes. It's like, okay.
they say it
Uh,
more. They say it more than the word overrated.
Like, but
Like,
some people, they just sit there, they're just like, oh, this person doesn't appreciate the art itself. They don't appreciate the background behind it. They're not actually inspired by anything. They lack the passion. They're selling themselves. They're selling to the bigger, to bigger like companies. They're commercializing. They're actually not doing stuff to be tasteful, but they do it because it's just to get money. It's
wow.
it's a lot. So between the conversations of, are you doing this because you're an artist, because you actually care about the art, you care to represent it, and you care about expanding or sending the message of art itself so it could be appreciated?
Yeah.
Or are you selling the art because you just need some quick funds, and you lack nothing, you lack no empathy of the actual culture around it,
Yeah.
but you just do it,
We
you
just you
know?
just do it. Yeah.
So,
Rappers talk about this all the time. Like they're like, yo, are you? Yeah, that whole sellout thing is
right?
it's
It
a big
is
issue.
it is not only rappers. It is literally every part of art.
It's every yeah.
L- What if you draw? And I think when people do recognize that stuff, I kind of think that it kind of points out who's actually gifted and
Oh,
who actually is determined. Like, I feel like it points it out. When people say those things, they're the people who are probably not one of those two.
like so gifted as in like they have the
They just
innate
naturally have the talent. Yeah.
natural talent or like what do you call it? Innate. Like it's
Hmm.
just boom, they just have it, right? As
Yes.
opposed to someone that has to almost
Work
learn
at it.
it.
Yes. But they work at it so hard that it's just like it
It's just
becomes nature.
it's just,
Yes.
they get very like yeah. I met people like that.
Right?
They're like, how do you just do it so naturally? Just, ah!
Trust me, they lose their mind.
Just straight up, just, ah! Just, how do you do it
I
so
spent
effortlessly?
years.
Spent years. It's like the
Trust me,
math. It was like the math kids growing up. Like some kids are just naturally gifted
with
with
math. Yeah.
math. Right? They just do it effortlessly. They don't show their work. They just
Mm-hmm.
boom, 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 boom. And I was one of those students. You'd struggle just to be like, it just doesn't make sense. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
what?
Mm-hmm.
Art's
Yep.
art's the same way.
Yeah. Art is
Like
the same.
what I can do. I can do cartoonish stuff. I can do anime. I can do graphic design stuff. But like realism drawing,
Mm-hmm.
naturally, I would have to like do classes and learn that as a skill. Some people just they'll look at a person and just be like, and
Mm-hmm.
you'd be like, what? How'd you do that?
Mm-hmm.
So okay, one day on the way to class, I was on the subway, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know those goofy um black art books.
Mm-hmm.
You buy it at the art store, at your school, or at an actual art store. But anyways, I'm drawing on it. I'm in once I'm in music I'm in the zone, just drawing stuff, probably cartoons and stuff like that. And and I look up, and I see some guy just looking at it, and he got up and he didn't stand beside me, but like on our subway system, it's like seat, which is three, and
Yes.
then the two, front
Yes.
and the two. So he sat like on the three seat part, and he's just like, "Yo, how'd you just do that? I was like, "Yo, I just do this and that." And, did you do that? And he's just like, "Yeah, there's nothing to it." He's like, "Oh my God, that's so
Mm-hmm.
cool!" And I'm like, "Yo, well, this is my stop," and I'm just out of here.
What's that?
You're like,
But it's facts. Some people, they never know. They're like so like, oh my gosh. It's true. It's the same as like when you hear somebody whose voice is like an angel. Oh, some
naturally,
people were just naturally gifted with chords that would just bring you in. Okay. Other people, they croak and they gotta work at it. All right. That's just what it is.
it's just
Not everyone, right, shares the same vocal cords. It is what it is. Genetics.
it
Yeah.
croak. That is funny.
That's what it is, right? You got to exercise in order for you to get to certain notes, right? Same thing where some people have the visual spatial ratio innately. They know what depth perception is and how to like analyze somebody's face and then draw it and like replicate it. You know,
Right.
some other people they can use a camera and look at it and look at somebody and like photograph that person and then manipulate that picture to look like either
Like,
completely different from what the person looks like to touching up that person and it's just like they're flawless. Like,
and
yeah.
even with touching up like a photo, there's so many levels to that. Because sometimes like some
Mm-hmm.
people like they do subtle just like
Adjustments.
adjustments, and the photo comes out like fire. Like,
Right?
right?
Just change a little bit of lighting here and there. Wow.
They have
You know?
something where like, let's say you have a subject, right? They would
Mm,
like they would like lasso around. Let's say
mm,
they're doing a pose like this.
mm-hmm,
They'll like cut it out and then they'll somehow like make them pop more, and then if they have blemishes in their skin, they fix that. And
mm-hmm,
but it's so subtle that you're just like, okay, but it looks really good though.
mm-hmm. By the end of it, yeah, trust me. I've seen those and I'm just like always wowed every single time. Burn and what is the other one? Oh gosh. Burn and oh gosh. All my Photoshop people, y'all are gonna hate me right now. It's like the two burn and dodge. Burn and dodge. Those are the tools that you guys use. And it's like shout outs to you if you know how to use that. To all my Photoshop users, y'all the real ones, man. Y'all
Burn
real
and dodge, okay.
ones. Or even just like dance. I feel like dance is one of the only arts that hasn't I should be mindful of my words. Um,
Hasn't been.
that hasn't been like, oh, like there's not enough passion, not enough representation in Toronto. Probably more stage time. Maybe that has been a concern. But yeah, I feel like dancers are very good at recognizing other dancers. That there isn't a need to like really put down or like make somebody feel small when you're a dancer. And I think that's also again that goes back to the circles that I'm around. All the
Mhm.
circles that I have been around when it comes to dance have always been inviting, have always been open. You know, when someone sees a move that you do, you know, there's more allowance to openness, I guess. Because some people have the fundamentals of certain dance styles. And in others, it's just like freestyling, but it works because it's uniquely to you.
That's it, yeah.
So
Until they steal it off TikTok and someone takes your dance and then goes nationwide with it, international wide, and then
not that, not the strike.
you don't get the
The
credit,
benefits for
and
of
then
what you produced.
the
Dang.
showrunner forgets that, oh wait, we can just Zoom call these people in. We're not even gonna invite them to the studio. We're gonna Zoom call them in. The originators of the dance.
Oh, no sub. No sub, guys.
That actually happened.
I
By the
know
way,
it actually happened. I actually
that
watched
actually
the documentary. I watched two. Which
there's
is very unfortunate
there's
though.
two documentaries
Yes.
on this already.
Well, not two, but there was an interview, a young gentleman who I
Oh,
find his commentary is purely enjoyable. Um, his accent, well, I say his accent, but his tone of voice, the way he conducts the interview, and like just his presence altogether. He is fabulous, but monotone and very dry at the same time. So it's so good though. And it's like how he does his commentary is amazing. When he did the interview with one of the creators on TikTok who did not get recognition, um, yeah, it was just his coverage on it was like, you're so good at this.
I think there's
But
one. I think there's one you showed us actually. Which one I'm
Yes.
thinking of? Okay,
Yes.
yeah,
The guy, I think he has like ginger hair, glasses.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Him. Fabulous, but monotone and, you know,
This guy
interesting.
he put the highlight and spotlight on that. Like, hey, this guy didn't get credited. Like,
It's like y'all could have, given him the money,
and opportunities.
right? Talking about giving back to marginalized groups. All right, but y'all don't want to have that conversation.
And with that, time to wrap up.
Yes.
I want to thank you all for listening. Plugs, plugs, plugs. I need a soundboard that says like plugs, 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 plugs. There's echoes. What do you
Facts.
got? What do you got for us, Z?
Well, you can definitely follow me on my Instagram, the Nerd Z with 3 Z's, THENERDZZZ. And you can also follow my photography page, ZZZ.studioto, ZZZ.studioto on Instagram. And if you're tuning in, definitely go and hit up that Eventbrite and check out Click and Capture, which is a photography workshop and networking event that I host every Monday from 1 to 4 and 6 to 9.
You can catch me on Twitter, Instagram, Delnijiro, DELNIJIRO. Support, support, support.
Yes.
I don't know, what am I doing lately? Besides like just working in general. Oh, I know. Surviving. As as me, aka Captain Corners, as me, uh bring the crowd with me everywhere I go. As me, as grandpa energy, I'll say. I'm not a grandfather yet, but sometimes I have that type of energy. Where people say your first name and then they'll call you sir after, and you'll be like, why are you calling you like you know my name? Like,
I
why would you call
can't.
why would you call me sir?
Do I look old?
Dude, look old. Also, James is not here, but follow him on his Twitch at Lou Pistols, LUPITOLS, I think. Yes, that's also follow him on his Instagram. That's J.HUNTERVILLE, J Hunterville. Other than that, I think that's everything. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely check us out on the Vent Pod, the Vent Podcast. And if you can't find us somewhere, tell us so you can find us everywhere.
Oh, I forgot to say, if you have any complaints or questions,
Questions, concerns.
concerns, askthevent@gmail.com. That's ASKTHE oh VENT@gmail.com. I had like a brain fart there. I was like,
Well, yeah.
yeah, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, yeah,
YouTube.
YouTube
You
as
got
well, because we're on
Mhm.
YouTube right now. Yeah, just want
Mhm.
to say thank you guys for listening. This is The Vent. We're out.